In 1963, a British government minister had an affair. Not exactly a scandal on its own. Governments have survived worse for less. What ended his career wasn't the affair. It was 11 words he said in the House of Commons, standing up entirely unprompted to do so. John Profumo was the UK's Secretary of State for War, genuinely the man overseeing military affairs at the height of the Cold War, and he'd been having an affair with a young woman named Christine Keeler. Awkward, sure. Survivable, almost certainly. Except Keeler was also, around the same time, reportedly involved with a Soviet naval attaché. So when rumors started circulating, Parliament did the obvious thing. They asked him directly. Profumo stood up in the House of Commons, one of the most recorded, most public rooms in the country, and stated, flatly, that there was no impropriety whatsoever in his relationship with Miss Keeler. That's the whole scandal, right there in one sentence. Not the affair, not even the security risk, just a man choosing in real time to lie to Parliament rather than say the vastly less dramatic sentence, "Yes, I had an affair. It was a mistake. It's over." 10 weeks. That's how long the line held anyway, because it almost always does, and Profumo had to return to the same chamber and admit he'd lied to the same people in the same room about the same thing. He resigned in disgrace, not for the affair. Plenty of politicians survive affairs. For lying to Parliament about it, on the record, when nobody had actually forced him to say anything false. He could have said nothing. He could have deflected. Instead, he chose the one sentence guaranteed to make it unrecoverable. And the fallout didn't stop with him. It became one of the events that helped topple Harold Macmillan's entire government the following year. One man's 10-second decision at a podium and an entire administration ends up wearing the consequences. Here's the thing about Profumo that should feel uncomfortably familiar. Nobody made him lie. He had every option available. Silence, deflection, a vague non-answer, and he chose the one option that turned a private mistake into a public unraveling. You've had that exact moment. Someone asks you something directly, a partner, a boss, a friend, and for 1 second you get to choose the slightly awkward true answer or the clean, confident lie that buys you exactly 10 weeks before it collapses anyway. At work, it's the confident, yep, already handled, about the thing you haven't even started. With family, it's the flat denial when someone asks if something's actually wrong, delivered with just enough conviction that they almost believe you. With friends, it's the casual, "Oh, I completely forgot," when you didn't forget, you just didn't want to have the conversation. Profumo's version happened in the House of Commons with the whole country watching. Yours happens in a kitchen, or a Slack message, or over coffee. Same 11 words, basically, just smaller stakes and no historians writing about it later. The strange part is, Profumo wasn't cornered when he lied. He had time to think. He chose the confident denial specifically because it felt cleaner in that exact moment than the messy truth, even though the messy truth would have cost him almost nothing, and the lie cost him everything. That's really the entire pattern. It's never the mistake. It's the 10 seconds afterward, when you're deciding which sentence to say next. History doesn't remember the affair. It remembers the sentence, which, honestly, feels like it should worry you more than it does. What's the confident, "No, nothing's wrong," you've given recently that wasn't actually true?